Why don't we begin by asking you to describe the really amazing wealth and political power of the South before the Civil War, and the particular individuals who were most prominent in having that wealth and exercising that personal power. They were, of course, slave masters. You might even mention how many slaves were owned by some of them, because it's staggering when you read it.
Right. Well, as you say, they're slave masters. This per capita is, if by per capita you mean per white person, this part of the country contains the richest counties in the country and the richest families in the country. They have benefited tremendously from slavery, and they are able to translate that wealth into tremendous political clout as well, so that they run the state legislatures within their own states. All the studies show that overwhelmingly. And not just slave owners, but the biggest slave owners. The census retains the title of planter for a slave owner who owns more than 20 people. And planters are very disproportionately represented in state governments. But they also have tremendous political clout, as I started to say, at the national level. Look at the era between Washington's inauguration and Lincoln's inauguration. The majority of presidents are Southerners. The overwhelming majority of cabinet ministers are Southerners. Right. Speakers of the House of Representatives, Supreme Court justices, and so on. Disproportionately Southerners. And they're in a position to call the tune for much of American political life.
And I wrote down today the 15 presidents before Lincoln. I put the Southerners, or in a few cases, Southern sympathizers. There was a name for those guys.
Doughface.
Doughface, thank you. And on one side, it's kind of like a Nixonian, I'll put this.
Right.
And it was something like 10 from the South or Southern sympathizers, and 4 or 5 from the North.
That's right.
Prior to Lincoln.
That's right.
Which, you know, and as you say, and it's not widely known, they did control the Supreme Court. They controlled the Congress. And I've always been led to believe, and maybe you could comment on this, that it was in part fury at the fact that they were being replaced as the people of maximum power in this country. That was one of the driving forces leading to secession.
No question about it. Jefferson Davis, in the decade prior to the Civil War, says at one point, the day that a man opposed to slavery is elected President of the United States will be the day in which we have effectively, these are not his words, but what his words add up to, a political revolution. We will have political power taken out of our hands, and from that point on, we will not be safe.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and the leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.